first time, welcome to Mayo High School. Welcome to the Mayo High School band program. This is just, the stuff we're able to do here at Mayo High School is just phenomenal. My name is Aaron Cole. I'm the band director here. The first item we have on the agenda this evening is actually a fundraiser that's coming up here in October. And we're going to go through this for a little bit, and then I have a variety of other topics that we'll go through throughout the evening. Maybe things like our concerts, the calendar, pit orchestra, jazz band, trips and tours we take, private lessons, honor bands, things like marching band, pep band, maybe upgrading your instrument. And at the end, we'll see if you guys have any questions. But here at the top of the meeting, I'm going to actually hand it over to our co-host here from the mattress fundraiser, and please welcome Missy. And she has a little bit to say about a fundraiser we're going to run actually at Century High School on October 12th. Thanks for being here, Missy.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of your meeting, because really the information I'm going to be providing is really for you. So to try to help you have the most successful fundraiser that you can with this. So because while it is a group fundraiser, meaning we're having the other two high schools participate, it is an opportunity for you all to raise actually several $1,000s just for your band program alone. And we're hoping by having the combined forces of all three bands helping to market in the entire Rochester community, that it's going to be very, very big for you. So I'm going to share my screen with you here real quick, and hopefully this works, because I've been fiddling with it and it wasn't earlier, but I think it's going to. Okay, awesome. So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep, looks good.
Okay. So only I don't know how to move it along. That's weird. Interesting. Okay. But I'm going to start just by showing you some big check pictures here. And you'll notice that a lot of these checks are different sizes of communities. Some of them are big, large suburbs. Some of them are small towns. They're definitely different sizes of programs, meaning some are less than 100 students and some are several hundred students. But the one common denominator with these programs and the big checks that they are holding is that they did a really, really great job of promoting this fundraiser in their community, within their school community, so that they could have as many customers as possible come in, because that is the only job you have with this fundraiser, is to bring in customers for the sale, and that will give us an opportunity to raise as much as possible for you. So it's a little bit different kind of fundraiser that way, and some of you are probably sitting there going, mattresses, how weird. But if I ask you how many of you sleep on a mattress, hopefully all of you would raise your hand. And that's essentially why it works. So, and how these programs have raised the amounts that they have. So who are we? We are a local family-owned business. So I'm talking to you from not too far away from outside of the cities in a town called Andover. And so we're basically owner operators here of this fundraiser. So we're not just a fundraising rep, meaning your success and our success are completely tied together. And we are truly making an investment in your school and your program every time we decide to work with a program, because we can only have about 40 weekends a year to run these fundraisers, which means that we can't actually work with every single community and program that approaches us. And when we do, we look at it as a partnership, and we do believe that you can have great success with this fundraiser. So we know that the potential is there for you. And then it's different than other fundraisers where we're not asking you to meet any kind of minimums or sell a certain number or anything like that. We're providing all the marketing materials and kind of the investment in that part, where we're just asking you to basically help your program by bringing in as many customers as you can. And then the other cool thing is we partner with about 100 schools in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and we've been doing this since 2013. And typically every Saturday and some Sundays throughout the school year, we are running a mattress fundraiser somewhere in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and usually raising between $5,000 and $10,000+ in a single day. So that's kind of how that piece works. And we do have, what's also cool about CFS is this is actually a national brand, meaning we have colleagues across the country in different cities who are small business owners just like us that are helping out their schools and their community and other types of nonprofits by holding mattress fundraisers. And since 2008, we've actually raised about $60 million with this fundraiser. So some of our locations have been around a really long time. So that's a little bit about us. And we talked about why you guys are selling mattresses. I think Aaron's going to get into that. Mr. Cole's going to get into that a little bit more. But we have this meeting so that you guys can understand exactly how this works, because people think all kinds of things when you say mattress fundraiser, especially for this being your first time. We have actually done this fundraiser a few years now with Century. So it is in your community, but this is the first year that we have brought in all three programs, and we're really excited for that potential. But how this fundraiser is different. So with this one, obviously people are not going to come in and probably purchase a mattress that don't need one, right? So this is a little bit different than some other fundraisers that you might have where you're kind of talking to the same folks in your network to maybe purchase that discount card or that butter braid or whatever it is that you might be selling. With this one, we want you to actually approach those folks and ask them to help you find a customer, because the customers are out there. It's actually 10 to 25% of the population. But it might not necessarily be someone in your small network. So we want to get out into the broader community and bring in some of those folks that are already in the market for a mattress. And that's really how we have a big day, is by getting into that group of people. And the great thing is then we're not asking someone to buy something that they wouldn't already want to be buying or need anyway. And so what we're asking everyone to do is each family to simply commit to finding one customer to bring in to the sale day that is in the market potentially for a mattress, with our overall goal being, between the three programs, ideally 50 to 100 customers, which would translate into $8,000 to $20,000 raised. So, and then of course, the more customers we have, the more sold, and then the more we can raise for your program. So I'm going to actually get out of this really quick and get into a video that does a really, really good job of kind of explaining in more detail exactly how this works. So bear with me on that. Oops. All right. Okay, let me get back into the PowerPoint here real quick. Okay, so I think that does a really good job of explaining it. And your event, like we kind of talked about already, is on Saturday, October 12th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Century High School. So that's where you would be inviting those customers to come in. We kind of already talked about some of these key things, but because of our no overhead model, what that actually means, because most people have questions about this, what are some of the prices and things like that? It's actually going to be retail sale prices or below all the time. And especially on kind of the nicer products, that's where people typically see bigger savings with us. So you want to let people know it really is a win-win that way, where with other fundraisers, sometimes you might be paying more for the product. With this one, you definitely aren't. And in a lot of cases, you might even see big savings. So, and it does look like a store set up in the school. We offer all the same services that a store offers, including delivery, removal of the old mattress, so haul away, set up in the home if someone wants that, and also financing, which are both credit and credit-free financing options. And then we will have a team of consultants there the day of, just to help kind of walk people through or point them in the right direction, depending on what they're looking for. Because we're going to have 35 plus models there. We want to make sure, if, let's say they're looking for a bed for a child, they're not necessarily over in the master bedroom section looking at a mattress in that section. That's not even what they're looking for. So we do have all top 10 US brands, including Purple and Helix. Those are newer brands to us this year, which people seem to be excited about, as well as Simmons and Simmons Beauty Rest, at all price points. So we start at $199, and then we try to have a good mattress at $50 to $100 increments up from that price point, so that we have something for everyone, including a bed for every purpose, whether that be somebody that's looking for something for a spare bedroom or a child or a cabin, or especially that master bedroom setup. We even do have specialty sizes for like an RV, like a short queen, or if someone needs like a custom size bed. And then there is going to be more than mattresses. So it's an opportunity for students to raise money through the sale of sheets and pillows and foundations, including box springs and these platform frames, as well as adjustable power bases. And those are a big deal because somebody might not necessarily be in the market for a mattress, but maybe they want one of those to put under their mattress, because they do work with just about any bed nowadays. And they are great for pain relief. And if someone buys one of these with a mattress, it's actually like a 2 for sale for that student and the school. So you want to let people know that we have these, because it can be another great opportunity to kind of add on to your total amount raised through those as well, the sale of those as well. We kind of talked about how already we're just asking for every family to find one customer, keeping in mind that for those customers, one of the cool things about this fundraiser is it's not just a group fundraiser, it's an individual one too. So as folks are coming in and they're mentioned students' names, we are giving credit to those students, additional money on top of the sale, that the portion that would be coming back to the school. And yes, we are going to do our best to differentiate which school they're supporting based on those students. And so keep that in mind too. That's another reason you want your people to know to come in and mention Mayo and mention your student. And then customer referrals. Why we talk about that too, and why we offer that additional incentive, is because we do know, after doing this for as long as we have, and you can kind of see some stats here, the more customers we have through the door, the more we can raise, but we know the majority of those customers are going to actually come from you all. So from your program, meaning somebody that's on this meeting tonight, or someone else that's in the program has gone out and told someone about this fundraiser. That's what we call a referral. And they do make up the biggest portion of all the total sales. So it stands to reason, the more referrals you guys have, the more you will definitely raise from this fundraiser. And Erin, do you just want to mention really quick how many students you have in your program, so we can kind of know what the potential is if everyone were to find one customer?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have, we're pretty much right at 200 band students here in the Mayo bands. And yeah, I think that, the potential is huge. I think Century and JM band programs are similarly sized. So I think there is quite a bit of potential here.
Yeah, you definitely can have a huge day, because even if with just your band program, that would easily break our record, which right now is almost 100 beds sold. And that program raised almost $20,000 in one day. And that program only has about 100 kids in it. So that opportunity for you guys is really, really big, especially if we can get everybody helping out. So So this is what the referral incentives look like. And again, this is on top of what the program is raising. So the program is getting somewhere between $150 to $300 per mattress. And then on top of that is coming in these referral bonuses. So, and this is for those students for the sale of the mattresses in their name, as well as any accessories. And that's a big deal because keep in mind, most people that are coming in, they're not just buying a bed. They're also going to probably buy a foundation, or they need a set of sheets or a pillow or something. And so all of that adds up too. And it's not very hard for a student to raise a couple $100 very easily from just a couple customers with this fundraiser. So tools that you can use to find customers, of course, talking to people. We have flyers and posters. I think you guys got those in the yard signs, right? Did you receive those?
Yeah, we have those here at Mayo, and we'll start getting them out real soon.
Awesome. As well as texting. So one cool thing you can do to text is just take a picture of that referral flyer. There's a spot where the student can write their name on the bottom of it. That's a great way to just send it out to your network and let people know that we're having this fundraiser, as well as social media. So tonight we actually have a special post on your event page that is going to allow you, if you share this post, to win a free pillow if we get 75 shares on the post. So we want you to go to your Facebook event, and I'll show you really quick what that actually looks like. Let's see. So if you're on social media, we want you to go to your event page tonight and get into this event post. So, and you can see that here. So you'll just scroll down into your event post. You'll see it. It's the very top post. And it's a great one to share out in the community. And if we can get 75 shares on that tonight, actually by Friday, then we will raffle off a really amazing cooling pillow that usually retails for a couple $100. So it's a very nice pillow. So help us out with that. And then let me get back in here. Just a couple more things. There is a military and a faculty, essentially a teacher faculty discount, or what we call a hero discount. So that does apply to your anyone that works at the school, or any school in the community is eligible for that, as well as your heroes in the community. So your police, your fire, medical personnel, as well as your veterans and active duty. So that can be a pretty big discount for those folks. So that's another great way to market the event. And then lastly, we'll need some volunteers. So this is a fun day. They can wear a mattress costume. Oh shoot. Are you guys able to see that? Or did I, you didn't get to see any of that. But this is what it looks like. So they can wear a mattress costume, they can hold a sign, but bigger than that, it allows you all to be participating in the day of. We love to have volunteers. It's a great way to thank the community for coming in, letting them know why we're there, helping you. They like to see that. And then it helps us create an event atmosphere too that's fun for those folks that are coming in and wanting to support. So. And then that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions at this point, feel free to ask, but this is our contact information. People can support the fundraiser outside of the day of the sale. So let's say they can't come in or something because they live out of town, or they're going to be out of town, or they live in another city. All you need to do is connect them with us through one of these means: email, text, or phone call. We do not have a website for ordering because we're all about keeping our overhead low. So you can see some items at our website, but there's not an opportunity for people to actually purchase or see everything that we offer because we carry literally hundreds of SKUs. So, but anyone that has specific questions, just connect them with us and we will help. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Missy. Appreciate that. Yeah, my colleagues at John Marshall and Century and we think that this is pretty much a no-brainer. You know, these guys are offering mattresses at retail or below, and it's raising great money for the band programs. And it's super simple to do. So, yeah, I put the link to the Facebook event in the chat if you'd like to click that and share. And Missy, if you don't mind, I'll take over presenting, and then we'll get to some more of our stuff here this evening.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, I'll be the first one. We're gonna share it on Facebook right now. There we
Love
go.
that.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for being here, Missy. Appreciate it. So we got that mattress fundraiser going on, and all 3 public high school bands are participating. So do check that out. I'll get some flyers and things out going here too. Now for the next 15 minutes or so, go over just some stuff about the band program, if you don't mind. So if you're new to our program here at Mayo High School, we have 3 main concert bands, and one of them literally has a course name of concert band, and that's our 9th grade students that meet during 5th hour. We have 2 other bands, Symphonic Band and Symphonic Winds. Symphonic Winds meets 2nd hour, and they are the ones that are earning honors credit, and it's open by audition only. Every once in a while, we'll have people that maybe audition into that band at the semester break between semester 1 and 2, but the primary way to get into Symphonic Winds is to audition at the end of the school year for the following school year. And as we go through this meet today, feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat, and we'll get to them kind of as we go, if they're pertaining to like whatever we talk about, or we can get to some at the end if that makes more sense. So feel free to ask any questions that you want to ask. I include this link to the band calendar in quite a few of my messages that go out over Skyward. And if you were to be able to click that right now, it would just take you to a calendar that looks like this. It's just a Google Calendar. And right now in the month of September, there's really only a few things just on here. The kids who do marching band have a game coming up on Thursday the 19th. We've got the mattress fundraiser. Actually, I got to move that to the wrong. It was originally going to be on the 28th. Got to move that to the correct date of October 12th. And then here we have football versus Lakeville North. That happens to also be homecoming. If we look ahead, bands are going to have a concert on October 14th. That's our first main concert. We do that in the gym at Mayo High School, because something you might not know around here is that we have a very thriving theater program. And we're producing a fall musical this year of the school edition of Rent, and so that is going to be kind of taking over the auditorium during this time frame. So that October 14th band concert is going to be in the gymnasium, because we'll be drilling set pieces into the floor of the stage. And one of the really cool things that we're excited about with the band concert that's coming up in October is that our 9th graders get to play some of the concert with all the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. And if you remember closer to the 10-minute mark of the meeting, I mentioned to Missy that we have about 200 band members in the Mayo bands these days. And so we'll be able to hear some moments in the concert in October of all 200 of them performing at once. And that will be quite the sight to see and to hear. I'm super excited. Something that your student might be interested in the future, if they haven't ever been involved in it now in the fall musical, is playing in our pit orchestra. So that just started yesterday, and we've got a variety of musicians playing in the musical for Rent. We've got some guitar players, bass and drums and percussion. We've got some horn players playing saxophone and trumpet and trombone, and we have some orchestral strings, some piano players, things like that. So normally this set of musicians is chosen at the end of a given school year for the upcoming fall musical. Every once in a while, we'll have a position that gets filled by a 9th grade student, but in reality, the books that we're renting from these musical places are literally the same books that were played on the Broadway shows. They're kind of professional caliber sheet music, and they're for pretty advanced musicians. So most of the people that do the Fall Pit Orchestra are fairly advanced in their craft for high schoolers, but it's a super fun organization to be a part of, should that ever make sense for, your students' musical experiences. A lot of people this fall have been asking me about jazz band, and because we have such a thriving theater program here at Mayo High School, our jazz season mostly starts after the fall musical is done and runs from like late November through spring sports season. And if you go back to that band calendar, this kind of culminates in the main jazz concert in March. Is going to be on Monday, March 10th. And we're going to share that with the Southtown Singers, which is sort of the jazz choir that my colleague Jennifer Humke runs. So if you're interested in jazz band, playing drum set, bass, guitar, piano, playing saxophone, trumpet, trombone, we'll have an interest form and audition materials kind of go out in early October. But just know that that main jazz season kind of runs during the winter sports season. We typically have a jazz season that runs during spring sports as well, but sometimes that personnel changes up a little bit because we have a lot of students that maybe don't do a winter sport and they like doing jazz band, but maybe they do a spring sport and they find that they're not able to manage both at the same time. So we sort of manage our jazz season around how the sports schedules work and things like that. Something to look forward to in the Mayo Band program is that we do actually tour around from time to time. So this year, during the 24-25 school year, we're looking to maybe plan just a quick one-day go see a musical in the Twin Cities type of trip. We don't have final details on that, but that is something that my colleague Jennifer Humke and Katie Queasley and I are working on. But then in the 25-26 school year, that would be our next main week-long, maybe go to Disney World style tour. Dates, itinerary, and cost are still a little bit to be determined, but that's something that we are actively working on. And once RPS has a pretty solid school calendar set for the 25-26 school year, that's when we'll start to finalize some of those details and offer signups to families who might want to go on that. The last time we went to Disney World, I think we took four or five buses. It was a pretty big tour. I think it was 4 buses, and that was pretty phenomenal. And we marched at the Magic Kingdom. We did some playing at one of the recording studios, working with some Disney professional musicians, and of course just enjoyed the Florida weather, the sights to see, and going around the parks and things like that. So that has been a mainstay around here in the Mayo Bands, and we are intending to plan something like that for the 25-26 school year. So do keep in mind that and look out for details on that. Something that maybe you've never thought of before is, getting your student private lessons on their instrument. It's a great way to get better. It certainly costs money, and we know that that doesn't necessarily fit in everybody's budget. But if you don't know this, there are a variety of lesson teachers around the area teaching all sorts of instruments and pretty much everything in the band realm. We can find somebody in the Rochester area to teach that. And if you need help finding a good private lesson teacher, if your student wants to do that sort of thing, just let me know. But additionally, since I teach 200 band students during just a few hours of the school day, I have some extra time in my schedule, not only to prepare for the rehearsals, but also to help students that need that extra help on their instrument. Because quite frankly, when 60 or 70 of them are coming to class all at the same time, it is pretty challenging to get somebody that individual help they might need on their instrument. But if they find a time to meet with me before or after school or during an open hour, or finding a time where maybe they have just a work day in one of their classes and they like to get excused from that to work with me on their instrument, I'm more than happy to do that. And I do that quite frequently. I think my job as a music educator for your student is to, help them become better and help them become inspired to want to be better. I think that that's the fastest way to get somebody to really start enjoying music and finding a passion for it, where getting the instrument out to practice feels like fun as much as it feels like work and getting better. Something you might be interested in to know about is just how many honor band opportunities there are in the state of Minnesota. My colleague John, who teaches band at John Marshall, he spent a good portion of his career in Oregon before moving here to Minnesota for his doctoral degree. And he was very surprised at how many honor bands there are in Minnesota. Apparently, we're the honor band state. We got a lot of them. And what this kind of experience is typically students either receive a nomination, which would just go through me, or they might have to audition to get in. And an honor band is simply getting together for a day or two with people around either your local Southeast Minnesota area or maybe from around the state if it's a state level honor band. And that usually typically results in a concert that's free and open to the public. And it's a super fun way to just like get together with a group of like-minded musicians and make some music. Colleges frequently host honor bands. And, you know, if you are a junior or senior that's maybe looking at applying to college at some point, or maybe you're thinking about playing some music at your college of choice, I highly recommend looking into this because, one, it's a great way to just visit the college that you're interested in. But two, they frequently offer scholarship auditions on those same weekends. And this really varies a lot from college to college. We find that like the private colleges are usually offering a lot more scholarship money than the public universities. But even there's typically some scholarship audition opportunities. And it doesn't have to be for music majors. Very frequently, these colleges host scholarship auditions for just general musicians who might want to play in their programs while they're there pursuing a music degree or other degree. And there's money to be had out there. So it's definitely something to consider. One of my colleagues who teaches band in Austin, Chris Dundas, bless his heart, he every year comes up with a spreadsheet of all the colleges kind of local to Minnesota and maybe even some of the surrounding states, when their honor bands are and what the requirements are to get in and things like that. So we don't have to go over that much data right now, but just needless to say, if you have questions about a college honor band, just reach out to me and ask, because there's a good chance that I can just quickly look up some information about that for you. Other honor bands that you might consider, the Minnesota Band Directors Association has a Southeast chapter. So that acronym there, SEMBDA, stands for Southeast Minnesota Band Directors Association. They offer a 9th and 10th grade concert band honor band and a 9th and 10th grade jazz band honor band. That's just through nomination. So at some point you'll get an email from me if you have a 9th or 10th grade student just saying like, hey, we're accepting nominations now. Here are the dates. Here's the cost involved. Would you like to be nominated for this honor band? And they're great experiences. But at the same time, there's some local stuff that's maybe not quite as challenging to get into. There's also state level honor bands that are always through audition, and they can be rather competitive. So the Minnesota Band Directors Association handles the state level honor bands for 9th and 10th graders. So you audition as a 9th or 10th grader and participate in that honor band during that same year. And then MMEA, which is the Minnesota Music Educators Association, has state level honor bands for concert band and jazz, and they have orchestra and choir as well, of course. And these are for 10th and 11th graders that audition towards the March or April timeframe. I think the deadline's in March. And that would be to participate during their following year. So there isn't a state level honor band audition for any seniors. They would have needed to audition as 11th graders to try to get into it for their senior year. We've got a handful of people that are participating at that top level MMEA All-State right now. They had great experiences back in August. We had a few people doing bands, and then we have one of our piano player for the jazz band was the one and only state level jazz pianist this year for the MMEA All-State Jazz, which is pretty phenomenal to be one out of the entire state and be chosen. Something you might be wondering about is marching band. Anybody who's in this call right now that has a 10th, 11th, or 12th grade student in our program, their student is literally just living the marching band experience right now. We had our first performance on Friday, August 30th, and we looked at that band calendar a little bit earlier and saw that their next performance in September is on a Thursday night, kind of a weird one. If you didn't know why we have a Thursday night varsity football game, it's that it's becoming harder and harder to find teams of officials, referees to ref the games. And so quite frequently these referees are reffing a game on a Thursday night. and then they will turn around and they'll ref another game on Friday night following. So I know my activities director would always push me to put the word out to consider becoming a referee. I've never done it myself, and so I guess I'm not walking the walk here. But I do know that they're always happy to be looking for more. So if you're a ninth grade band parent or a ninth grade band student, you might be wondering about marching band. And I would describe the Mayo Marching Band program as one that I feel like tries to strike the balance between marching band that is a really intense time commitment and marching band that has a more casual time commitment. On the one hand, we're trying to produce something that on a Friday night at a football game is really fun and exciting and entertaining to watch and see. And that takes time and effort, of course, to produce that. But on the other hand, with 200 band students in our program, we have people that come from all walks of school life. We've got marching band members that are varsity soccer players. We've got marching band members, who are playing all sorts of fall sports. We've got people that are on the football team. And I'll tell you what, my varsity football player, Angel, plays trumpet. He's playing varsity football on Friday nights. He's not doing the marching band thing, but he's still a part of the Mayo band program. And so I'm here to just let you know, especially if you're a ninth grade band student or a ninth grade band parent, that I really think that we do a good job striking that balance between having a marching band that puts out a very entertaining, fun show to watch, but also a marching band that, I think allows for people of varying busy schedule backgrounds to participate in. So band parents, especially as your ninth grade student starts progressing towards 10th grade, I would encourage them to stay in band all 4 years if they enjoy it. And don't let a busy fall sports schedule be a detriment to you when it comes to considering, how is marching band going to work or not. We have many, many, many students that come from all walks of activities life and are able to make it work. We do have pep band performances, and I wanted to make sure that we're kind of all clear about how this works, because when you start looking at the number of pep band performances that the Mayo bands perform over the course of the year, it could end up being anywhere from like 15 to 25, depending on how many of our sports teams make the postseason. And you might be thinking to yourself, man, how is this going to work when my student does a fall sport and a winter sport, or maybe they do the fall musical and they have the Mayo speech team during the winter season, or maybe they're going to be involved in the one-act play. None of our pep band events are graded. But at the same time, I think that it's our Mayo High School cultural responsibility to, be the school spirit face of the program. And so we do want to sound good and look good at all of our pep band events. But yet at the same time, we're not going to grade and require people to be there. So I think that my job as the director of the pep band or director of the band program is to make the pep band program fun and exciting to be a part of, so that we have students that are just genuinely intrinsically interested in being there. And that seems to work out pretty well for us. We usually have a pretty dedicated crowd of people that love to go out to pep band and try to attend as many as they can. Excuse me. But at the same time, we have people that are 3-sport athletes and they might never make it to a single pep band game, and that's okay. We want to be a band program that feels like it can accommodate every type of person at Mayo High School, whether you are incredibly busy with lots of other activities or whether you decide to make band a big part of your life. I want to be able to accommodate students that fit into all of those categories. So for me, that is almost everything. So be thinking about if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to answer or talk about before we go here this evening. While you're thinking about those questions, I do want to just drop a few words about ways to upgrade your instrument if you've never thought about this before. I think many of our students who enter Mayo High School might be playing on the same instrument that they entered in on, back in 5th or 6th grade or whenever they started playing their instrument. And for the woodwinds and brass, maybe not the flute so much, but for almost everything else, there are certainly some relatively like budget efficient ways to have an even better experience on your instrument. Taking the brass, for example, just finding a mouthpiece that maybe feels like it feels more efficient to play for you, and maybe feels like it's more comfortable on your face structure. You know, maybe you had braces for a while in middle school, maybe you don't anymore, or maybe you just got braces and you're trying to figure out, oh man, is there a mouthpiece out there that would maybe make this experience of playing a brass instrument feel a little bit more comfortable? That those types of conversations I have with students and families all the time. Feel free to reach out to me over email, you know, or even just at the end of the call here if you want to know more about that. I'm going to drop my email address in the chat. One of the things for woodwinds that have mouthpieces like your clarinets and your saxophones, upgrading to a like professional model mouthpiece can be anywhere around like $80 on the cheap end to $200 on the expensive end. But having a pro model woodwind mouthpiece on a still average quality woodwind instrument can make an enormous difference in just how nice it is to play that instrument. Another thing to consider on the like clarinet and saxophone side of things, and this goes for flutes as well, is if it hasn't been into the shop to see a good technician in a while, you know, seeing a good technician to get everything well regulated and get pads adjusted can make a huge difference in how well that instrument plays. Unfortunately, I don't mean to poo-poo on any of the instrument techs in Rochester here. We don't have an amazing woodwind repair person in Rochester right now. We used to until Dave Townsend retired. But right now we've got some pretty decent woodwind techs in Rochester. But if you're ever looking to send a woodwind instrument to somebody who would be able to get that instrument just functioning like a high-end race car, let me know. And there are some technicians in the Southeast Minnesota area you could go to, just maybe not right in Rochester. On the brass repair side of things, I think Schmidt Music does an incredible job. Julie is the Schmidt Music repair technician over there, and I trust her with my own brass instruments. They've got the ultrasonic water bath cleaner thing over there at Schmidt where they put the instrument in a water bath and pipe ultrasonic waves into it and get it all cleaned up that way. I think those are phenomenal. And Julie has always just done an amazing job at repairing brass, so definitely consider that. But that being said, I think that that's a huge part of what we're about here at the Mayo Bands. And I will be happy to stay on for a while and answer questions, bring up topics that you want to bring up. Feel free to unmute your mic and ask a question if you want, or simply type it in the chat. If somebody you know couldn't make it to this call, I've been recording it, and so we'll post it up on YouTube and send that link out over Skyward within the next day or two. So at this point, if you've heard what you need to hear, feel free to drop out of the call and have yourselves a lovely evening. But if you'd like to stick around and get questions answered, I'm more than happy to stick around for a little while. Thanks so much, everybody. And if you're new here, welcome to Mayo Bands.
Hi, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you say that the woodwinds that Schmidt is good for the woodwinds? I forgot already. Didn't write it down.
So Schmidt Music does a pretty good job with, well, not a pretty good job. I think they do a phenomenal job with brass instruments. But if you're looking for general woodwind repair, I would try Music Mart. So there's a couple guys at Music Mart right now. Music Mart purchased the Wellhaven music store that sort of, they didn't necessarily go out of business so much as they just sold their business to Music Mart. So Wellhaven used to have a shop that was right on Broadway, close to downtown. And now they bought a shop that's kind of by, I don't know, what is that Hy-Vee called that's on like 37th Street Northwest? I can't remember what that Hy-Vee is called. It's right over there. And they have a guy there, Chris Wessel, who I think that they're intending to make the new woodwind repair guy once he starts going more full-time with that. And I think Chris does a phenomenal job with woodwinds. Like, he's not like the world-class technicians that sometimes you can find in some other cities, but he does a really good job. And so if I have woodwind repair right now, I personally send all the Mayo High School woodwinds to Music Mart. I send all the brass to Schmidt Music.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody else questions? Feel free to unmute or just drop something in the chat here. Be happy to answer anything you'd like answered.
What's the story on the bands playing at the football games? Are the
Yeah,
that's
great
this
question.
year?
Can you remind me what grade level do you have a student in, Audrey?
Ninth.
Oh, sure, yeah. So our ninth grade students don't really participate in the marching band program. We have one ninth grader that's just doing it right now, or actually I should say two that are sort of opting into that because they are kind of proactive and wanted to do that. But generally, our ninth grade students don't need to worry about any of those football game performances or anything. We'll start inviting them to some of those athletic performances later after the regular season of football is over. But like I was saying earlier with Pep Band, it is not graded. And I feel like my job as band director is to make it fun and exciting and make it something that they want to be part of. And then that usually helps everything just kind of take care of itself from there. Yeah, feel free to pipe in with any more questions. Oh, my daughter Hannah came down from upstairs to visit. Hannah, do you want to say hi to some of the Mayo band parents? She just gave me the thumbs up. She's 4.5 years old. Say hi to Hannah, everybody. There she is. Hey, Hannah, can you tell everybody what instrument that you play?
Ukulele.
Yeah, she has a blue ukulele that she likes to strum on. Let's see. So, question about activity fees. There's no like general activity fee to be a part of the band class, but there are instrument rental fees. And yeah, I should have had a slide on that. So thanks for bringing that up. The school district charges, and I'll mention this in an email to everybody who needs to deal with this sort of thing so people won't miss out. But the school district charges a fee of $110 one time just for the year to cover the rental of an instrument like, say, like a tuba or a bass clarinet or something like that. Or on the percussion side of things, they charge that same fee of $110 once a year for the usage of all the percussion instruments that we have at Mayo High School. We were looking at the inventory the other day and just kind of running our ninth grade percussion students through what we have, and we kind of estimated that it's probably somewhere on the order of like $100,000 to $150,000 worth of equipment that they get to use, and that fee just helps offset the cost of maintaining that equipment. Now, to that end, the school district has always maintained a policy where if a student would normally qualify for free or reduced lunch price, even though all the students eat for free now under the new law, the district would waive that fee. So I am guessing that more and more families are probably not filling out that free or reduced lunch form, but by that same token, that form still exists. And so if your family would normally qualify for that, I encourage you to reach out to the school district and fill that out. And then the district would waive that fee for you for percussion usage or for the rental of an instrument. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Sophia. Yeah, anybody else, feel free to chime in. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. Take care. Yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Let me know if you have any more questions. Otherwise, probably sign off here in a minute or two.